Hi everyone, it's Lisa again, bringing to you a craft that you probably can do with things that you already have at home on hand. Today we're going to be making this cute door basket. I'll let you take a quick look at that. Don't judge my floral arranging, please. And this was relatively easy. I was surprised. I'd seen a picture on a Google search of DIY door baskets, and all I had was an image. So from there, with a little bit of planning, I was able to make that into a door basket, which you can modify to your own liking. I do want to give you a list of supplies, and then I'm going to zoom in just a little bit tighter with the camera so that you can see what we're doing with the actual weaving of the twine. Okay, so here are the supplies that you're going to need for this. I had these under my house in my crawl space where I sometimes store some of my garden items, and it is just a metal fence. It was used to support dahlias. And then the dahlias outgrew the fence. And so I put this away for safekeeping like I do a lot of things. And I had 6 sections of it. So it required 2 for the one that I made, 2 for the demonstration today, and then the last 2 will show you how to actually put this together, the metal part of it. So I needed 2 of these. Now, I'm sure these were not expensive, and I'm sure you probably can still find them at a box store, gardening store, that kind of thing. So it might be worth your investment, considering the door baskets are very expensive online. So it's easier to make these. For my own purposes, cost-wise, maybe less than $10, and that's because I needed some greenery and some fall foliage. So other things I had at home. Okay, so let's look at your list again. Go back to your list. You'll need the metal frames for the fence. You will need wire. I don't know that it matters the gauge of the wire. This happens to be a 22 gauge. I'm going to need a pair of scissors, and that will be for the ribbon. I need wire cutters. I have the small ones, which tend to work really well with this gauge of wire, but I also have the larger ones if I needed them, and that's kind of helping me bend some of my fencing in a few minutes. If you're going to use this as a floral arrangement rather than just a mail deposit or just something else that you want to put in there that's decorative, then you're going to need your faux flowers or foliage. You're going to need something called Oasis. Oasis is a foam, very lightweight. You can actually put water on this and it holds fresh flowers. In this case, we're using it dry with our faux flowers. And then you're going to need ribbon. And in this case, I'm going to be using ribbon to fold. I'm going to be using it for a bow, but I'm also going to be using it in our demonstration to weave throughout this as well. And then I've got a glue gun because I always keep a glue gun ready. You never know when you're going to need it, and in this case I do need it in a couple of little spots to make sure that we're holding the twine. And the big element for this is your twine. You can buy various widths of this. I want to say widths, but it's actually the number of little tiny pieces that make up the gauge of this twine. And so you'll notice this one's a little bit thicker. Okay, so you need twine. You can buy this at a craft store, a big box store, or you could even buy this at a hardware store. So we're going to change the angle real quick so you can see some details of how to put this door frame basket together. Okay everybody, this is probably a little bit better of an angle, and I have gone ahead and pre-assembled just a little bit of this, but let me try to explain what I've done. As you recall, there were 2 pieces of fencing. I actually laid those down flat end to end, and I matched up the center part, this little center part right here. These, let me bend those back. These were the existing hooks and the existing planter parts of your fence. This would have stuck in the ground. This one would have allowed another piece of fencing to attach to it and stay attached. So what I have done, if you have a heavy-duty pair of wire cutters, you can cut these off. You can cut off this one, this one, this one, any of them that are sticking out that are no longer needed, because all I did was wire the corner here and the corner here. I pulled the bottom part away. I bent up my hook, one of two, and that's going to hold the side in place. Now I still have this, I understand. We'll deal with that in a minute. I did the same thing on the other side. Once I had my bottom attached with my wire, then all I simply did was, again, pull up my hook, attach it to the back, and wired that together because I had one of these. Again, if you have wire cutters, then you can easily just snap that off. But in my case, I'm going to bend it down and wire it together. And that's going to keep this side in place just by using the existing hooks that were on the sides. Now, once I get this part in place, I've got this to contend with, and this one popped off, but there's actually another piece that would go right here at the bottom that popped off. That's not a big worry to me because this is still safely in place. As a matter of fact, I may end up putting a piece of wire here and a piece of wire here to, again, make it just a little bit more sturdy. Attach that back there on the corner. Again, I have this right here and right here. All I can simply do is take my wire and wire that part together just like I did on this side, and take this one and wire it down just like I did on this side. So it's a matter of, once you've placed them together, connecting the hooks at the top. We're going to bend it slightly, connect the hooks at the top. We're going to wire in each of those random pieces that are left out. Again, you could clip those off if you wanted to. And then once you're finished, we're going to take this and spray paint it. I spray painted mine with a black chalk paint, but you could use any paint that you wanted, any spray paint that you wanted, any color that you wanted as well. Now, I understand this part here is not finished, but I do want to give direction on how to get started. I like to start at the bottom, and all I'm going to be doing is wrapping this, hot gluing to the back. Actually, I would even tie a knot on there. I'm going to try to put the knot in the back of this. Pull it around to the back. I'm going to pull off quite a bit of this. And then all you're going to be doing, we'll hot glue that. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just simply going to be applying my first layer, and that is to finish off this bottom. You do not have to do it so tightly. You can actually leave a little bit. Let me show you what that would look like. On the one behind me, if you can see, you'll notice that I left a little bit of my metal showing. So you could do that either way. If you wanted to put a spot of glue every once in a while to keep its form and repetition, then you could do that. So either way would be great. Once you've gotten all the way to the very end, tie a knot, again, a little dab of glue gun on the back. Let's put it on the back. And that way, if it is visible, it's visible only from the back. And then you notice that we have two middle metal pieces in the center of the back and the front. So we're going to start at the back, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to finish this because it is a little bit of time consuming. But once you get the rhythm and the pattern going, then this is not difficult at all. It is handier if you have a little spool of this versus this big one that I have. I'm going to cut off quite a bit. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to start taking this across the back here, is I'm going to go over. I'm going to go under and over the end. And then I'm going to go under and over the end. And my last one here was under, so this one's over. It's an over-under pattern, people. We have woven before. And then I'm simply going to remember that that one was under, so this one's over. We're always making sure that the end is covered. I'm going to do one more for you, and then I'm going to show you some variations. Now remember, this piece right here would normally be attached using wire. We want to finish on the back. Even if you run out of twine, you want to finish on the back. So tie a knot, and a little dab of hot glue should hold that in place. Another knot will get you started on your pattern of over and under. Always making sure that you cover the ends completely. This is our finished product. You'll notice by the under over there is a little bit of a pattern right here. Also, I have chosen to embellish the top of this one with ribbon. I could have easily continued on with the twine, but I chose to do this one in ribbon. I did hot glue the ribbon, but I should be able to just pop that loose if I want to use a seasonal ribbon on there as well. You'll notice in the back, I just hot glued that together. That'll be easy to come off. The last thing that this one has to have done to it is around the top, all the way around, I need to put my twine just as I did at the bottom. And that just finishes it off and makes sure that the rough edges are protected here. Also, if you're going to be using this as a floral, an area for flowers, then I'm going to take this out and show you that I put everything in an oasis. And an oasis, again, we talked about being that piece of foam. But I'm going to need something in there to kind of help me keep this in place. I found this piece of cardboard. You could easily use a folder, and you can just slide that right into place. If you're going to keep it as a floral arrangement, I would put a little dab of hot glue down in between the oasis and your cardboard, and that's going to hold it in place. That way you can just take out your flowers and rearrange those seasonally. Now, obviously, this one belongs in this container, and I would have used this bow, which is simply burlap, and kind of a fall or Thanksgiving. This is super simple. It may appear to be difficult, but believe me, once you get the design, then it's very easy to do and very sturdy. This is not going to fall apart by any means. And so I hope you'll think about things that you have at home and maybe can make one of these. If you do, please share it to our Facebook page and keep crafting.